Kuzangpo, and welcome to this program. Well, as we are preparing for the third parliamentary elections, which is very close now, PBS is bringing you one-on-one interviews with the presidents of the 4 political parties, which we learn are all ready to contest. And I am joined by the president of Druk Pinsum Sokpa, Pema Jamsu. Welcome to this program. First of all, I would like to ask the president here about your party's ideology, if you can tell us.
Thank you very much, and let me join Ginzang in wishing all our viewers Kusuzangpo. As you know, Druk Pinsum Sokpa is one of the older parties, so we will stick to our ideology of growth with equity and justice towards achieving economic self-reliance and creating a harmonious, happy and peaceful society. So, in order to pursue this ideology, we have also a set of principles, and the first principle is of course to serve the institution of monarchy and to protect the sanctity of the throne at all times, and then to promote the unity, peace and harmony among our people, to ensure sovereignty and security for our nation, and then to pursue cross-national happiness towards achieving economic self-reliance without compromising our environment and our culture, and finally to promote good governance through increased transparency, accountability and decentralization.
Okay, what were some of the achievements as a political party, and especially as the opposition in the last 5 years?
Thank you very much. As you know, Druk Pinsum Sokpa received the mandate from the people to serve as the governing party in the first parliament from 2008 to 2013. And as government, we did our best to address some of the key issues facing the country, key issues and challenges. And our main achievement, I would say, was in addressing poverty, in reducing poverty, and we succeeded from reducing poverty from around 24% to 12%. Now, as opposition, again we are very thankful to the people of Bhutan for giving us this mandate to serve as opposition during the second term from 2013 to 2018. Now, as opposition also, we stuck to our principle, the same principles, equity and justice, and serving with humility and with dignity. So, our objective was to set an example for future opposition parties to follow. That is why we try to be a very constructive opposition and not obstructive or destructive. So, we always try to support the government wherever we could, but we also had to oppose them on some occasions. But on the whole, we have always tried to provide useful recommendations, improvements to government interventions, rather than blocking them or rather than trying to criticize the government for the sake of criticizing. So, we have been a very dignified and responsible opposition.
But at the same time, do you think there were challenges which we can consider as failures also as a political party, as an opposition?
Yes, of course, there were many challenges. Of course, government by design has more members of parliament, and therefore, we cannot expect to win all the time, and we cannot expect to be successful in opposing the government all the time or in influencing the government to adopt our recommendations. But on the whole, we have addressed these challenges quite successfully, and if you recall the proceedings of the parliament, the opposition members actually took a lead role in the deliberations, in enacting laws and in the discussion of bills and so on. So, I think in spite of the challenges, we have been very effective in providing check and balance to the government.
Now, as we start to talk about the forthcoming third parliamentary elections, how prepared are you? Are you ready to contest again for this forthcoming elections?
Thank you. I would say we are quite well prepared. We have all our candidates in place, and we are very happy to say that we have a good combination in terms of age, in terms of gender, in terms of qualifications, professional background and experiences. Now, in terms of age, we have around 10 candidates above the age of 50, and we have around 25 between 40 and 50, around 7 between 30 and 40, and around 4 below 30. So, it is a good mix. And then we have also 5 very competent women candidates, and 3 of them have already served as members of parliament, and 2 of them have already had long and distinguished careers in their fields of expertise. So, in terms of the candidate, in terms of age and gender, we are very comfortable. In terms of professional background also, we have candidates from the health sector, from the agriculture sector, from the the education sector, from legal, from engineering background, and all kinds of professional backgrounds. And we have also very highly qualified candidates. We have 4 candidates with PhD qualifications, and about 20 with masters, and the rest of course with bachelors. So, in terms of the qualification also, we are very comfortable. And in terms of experience, I would say we are very comfortable, because if you look at our candidates, many of them have already served as members of parliaments, either in the first term or in the second parliament, and several of us have also served as ministers. So, in terms of experience, again I think we are very comfortable. And the other preparation we are doing is of course the manifesto, and we are right now in the process of preparing our manifesto, and we assure you that we will have a clear blueprint or roadmap for the next 5 years and beyond.
Now, to contest or take part in this third parliamentary elections, what would be your main focus? Would it be the same as equity and justice? Are you trying to come out with something different this time?
Now, of course, now we have to pick up from where we have left in 2013, and one of our biggest challenges is trying to bring back the economy on track, because we had a vision to achieve economic self-reliance by the year 2020, and that is now more or less derailed, and our first priority will be of course to put the economy back on track and set ourselves a new goal. Perhaps by year 2025 we should aim at achieving economic self-reliance. The second priority we would like to set is in addressing again poverty, poverty in urban areas as well as rural areas, and we would like to reduce the poverty levels down to below 4%. And third biggest challenge the nation is facing is unemployment of our youth, and this is one area that we have to address on our footing, and these are our key priorities.
Okay, like whoever parties or that wants to contest any elections, in our country we always see parties coming up with this addressing poverty and also addressing unemployment. That is what all the parties seem to say, but they don't tell people how they are going to actually do it or achieve it. If you can tell us.
If you look back on how we have achieved, I think we had 7 common minimum programs, what we call them. That is access to roads, supply of electricity, and connection to the telecommunication connectivity, not in terms of access alone, but also in terms of affordability. And then we have water supply, safe drinking water supply, reliable drinking water supply. Then we have the health services, education services, food security. So, we had 7 minimum programs which we would like to pick up again. Now, on top of that, we would like to also aid housing for all as an 8th program, and access to credit and financing as a 9th program. And all of this, when you address poverty, when you address the economic issues, then we would be creating employment as well.
Now, people want to have new ideas or new approach to whatever development that political parties will pledge or want to do. But how are you going to do this? What kind of a new approach or new ideas to Pinsum Sokpa have?
Well, we have to first of all appreciate the natural assets, the resources that we have, identify areas where we have competitive edge or competitive advantages as compared to other countries or our neighboring countries. Now, based on that, we have to review and revise our economic development policy, and along with that, the fiscal policies, monetary policies, and other enabling policies as well. Now, based on that, we have to attract investments in those areas where we have potential, first of all, to provide international standard services, or produce goods that are of a quality which can be marketed outside. We have to attract investment in areas which could create businesses, in areas which could create jobs. So this would be one area that we would be focusing on. Now, if you look at what we have, I think one area for growth is generally, the energy sector. We have to continue with our hydropower development. We do not have too many other options. That is one sector which would continue to be the backbone of our economy. So, first of all, we have to complete the construction of all the ongoing hydropower projects. Secondly, we have to start as soon as possible the construction of the pipeline projects. We have plans to construct hydropower projects that would generate a total of around 10,000 megawatts. Maybe all that will not be possible, but we have to try our best to construct as many as possible.
But this talking about hydropower, this environmentalists, or they are concerned because there's a lot of impact or damage to environment when we construct mega projects in hydropower. And also we have with the ongoing hydropower projects that we have a huge debt that the country has incurred. How do you think this can solve? And also there is this pointed out, experts, the economists have pointed out that our country, Bhutan, is putting all eggs in one basket by investing so much in hydropower. Don't you think we should diversify or look for other opportunities?
Okay. Of course, we have to diversify. Of course, we have to look for other opportunities and not just rely on hydropower. As you said, we cannot put all our eggs in one basket. But we have to also assess whether the risk of not putting those eggs in basket is higher than the risk of putting those eggs in that same basket. So we have to make a very thorough assessment of what advantages we have, what are the risks involved in terms of environmental damage, in terms of the potential threat to livelihoods through loss of land and other such things. So we need to do a proper assessment, and of course we should not go blindly into developing all these hydropower projects. We need to reassess the situation, and if it is economically viable, then we should go ahead, because environmental damage can be controlled. There is no reason why we should go all out to do everything at once. That would cause so much damage to the environment. If it is done in a planned and phased manner, there would be minimal damage to the environment. So I think that can be corrected. Now, if we don't take advantage of this opportunity, as I said, we do not have too many other options. And as you know, the glaciers are melting, and we don't know, how long our rivers will continue to run. And if you don't seize this opportunity now, we may never be able to seize that opportunity. But that doesn't mean that we should go blindly into developing hydropower. We should explore other avenues, other areas, other sectors simultaneously.
What other sectors do you think is viable at this time in our history or in our country to invest or to develop for reviving our economy? You said that has a lost track. Our economy has been suffered.
Okay, there are several other sectors where we could actually seize the opportunity, not only to accelerate our economic growth, but also to create jobs. Now, tourism, for example, is one sector which could benefit the cross sections of our society. From the cave divers in Thimphu to the farmers in Bumthang or Trashigang, everyone will stand to benefit from tourism. but we need to review the tourism policy. While we need to honor our time-tested policy of high-value, low-impact tourism, we have to look at how we can bring in more tourists, how we can make Bhutan an all-season destination by diversifying our products and services, by promoting Bhutan as an attractive destination which is safe, secure, peaceful, and we have a pristine environment, a rich culture and tradition. So, banking on all this, I think we can promote tourism as one of the key sectors for generating employment and earning, enhancing foreign exchange earning and so on.
Yes, I agree, or people do agree that tourism is a backbone, one of the revenue generators. But having said that, there seems to be like a problem also with tourism, because tourism, though it brings a lot of income or generates revenue, but it seems the benefits is not trickling down to other people, the whole of the population, because only I think a handful of people are benefited by tourism. What do you think can be done on this?
That is why we need to review the policy. We need to streamline the procedures, the regulations, and we need to diversify the products and services that could actually reach out to the village level, to the grassroots level, so more sections of our society could benefit from tourism. Now, that is why we need investment in this sector. Right now, we are earning from tourism through royalty and so on, but we are not making any major investment into this sector. For example, roadside amenities, we do not have adequate roadside amenities. We do not support the hotel industry enough to be able to attract quality tourists and visitors. So, there are so many things that we need to do, including development of tracks, biking routes, adventure tourism, river whitewater rafting, and so many options are there, but we have not yet exploited those resources and exploited that potential, and we need to do that.
Okay, now if you can tell us something unique about Druk Pinsum Sokpa, which can guarantee or garner votes for the upcoming elections. What do you have uniqueness? Because as we see, all the parties seem to have similar pledges or manifestos.
Well, I would think our ideology itself is quite unique. We stand for equity and justice, growth with equity and justice. We stand for peace, unity and harmony among our people. We stand for long-term sustainable growth as opposed to short-term, short-term gains, short-term measures that are meant to be popular. So, that is unique, and I think the selling point for us is we have a very good track record. First of all, as a ruling party from 2008 to 2013, people know what we have done, they appreciate what we have done, the roads that we built, the bridges that we built, the electricity that we provided to many homes and villages, the access that we have created to telecommunication facilities. So, all this have helped reduce poverty, help improve the livelihoods of people. So, I think that is that will work to our benefit. Secondly, as opposition, we have not been a vindictive opposition. We have provided a very dignified, we played a very dignified role in opposition as well. And I think all these are our unique selling points, and I think the people are there to judge how we have performed as government and as opposition.
This uniqueness of your party, like being constructive, not very aggressive, I think some have pointed out that is also a weakness. Your as an opposition is not so much aggressive. What do you think on this, the views shared by people?
As I said, we have to set examples, because democracy is still relatively young. So, either as government or as opposition, we have to always set good examples. We should not set precedences that would be bad for our country, for our democracy. We should not put our party interests, our individual interests above national and public interests. So, therefore, being humble does not mean being weak, being modest does not mean being weak. We have to, at the end of the day, our objectives must be met, and that objective is to develop the country in a way that is unique, as we always say. Our development must be sustainable, it must be equitable. So therefore, opposing in a manner that is effective but not necessarily aggressive doesn't mean we are weak. For example, many people say that we are weak because we are not able to take the government to court even once. Now, if we wanted to, we could have taken them to court on many occasions, on many issues, but we didn't. And we didn't do deliberately because that's not a good precedence. Because if we take the government to court on a particular issue, the government cannot function or cannot implement that particular program unless the verdict is issued from the court. So that would sort of derail the government from being able to function properly, and that is not our objective. Now, let us imagine future oppositions look at this, take this as an example, and take future governments, even if the government is doing a good job, even if the government's intention is good and is meant to benefit the country and the people, the opposition will just take them to court in order to destabilize them, in order to hinder their functioning, and that is not good for democracy.
In 2008, it was a great opportunity for you. You did it well, but in 13, you were not so, like it was the opposition that you had to be the opposition, your party. Now 2018, how confident are you this time?
Well, we are very fortunate to receive the mandates from 2008 to 13 as a governing party, and also from 2013 to 18 as opposition. Both are equally important. In our system, the opposition is as important as the government, and I think in future we should also recognize that we have to have a strong opposition to be able to afford a good check and balance system. So therefore, we do not regret being in the opposition at all. In fact, it was an honor to be able to serve His Majesty the King and our people in this role as an opposition party. Now, coming to 2018, I think the choice is up to the people. As long as the country wins, as long as the people win, we do not mind, because at the end of the day, all our objectives are same and the goals are same, aspirations are same, and if everything is done in a just and fair manner, we have no cause for regret at all.
Now, should you make through the primary round this time, and also if you have to, then are you going to change some candidates as we have seen in the past? What is your plan?
Not at all. I think in the past also we didn't change candidate at all, because one of our candidates got disqualified after the primary round. Then we have to take in a new candidate. So it was not replacement, it was actually candidate recruitment. Okay. In our case, because we took in one candidate from Chiruang to replace our candidate who was disqualified. So that is not the same as replacing candidates. So even this time round we are not going to do that, because people have to believe in our ideology and principle. A candidate has to be committed to our ideology and principles and the way we work to be selected, to be chosen as our candidate. And for us, it is important that we remain loyal to the candidate, just as we demand loyalty and commitment from the candidates concerned.
Good. Now the last question. If your party forms the next government, what would be your first and the foremost thing that you would do?
The first and foremost thing would be, I would like to see the setting up of a multi-sectoral think tank committee, a think tank body, which could put our economy back on track, which could draw up a master plan to put our economy back on. That would be the most important thing, because if we correct our economy, if we get our economic policies right, and if we have a good economic plan, everything else will follow. The question of employment will be created simultaneously. If we have a good economy, there is no problem of creating jobs, no problem of our youth finding jobs. So that would be the first thing that I would like to do.
Yes. Thank you so much for your time. That was the President of Pinsum Sokpa, Pemajam So, speaking to us about what they would do and how ready they are. And I would like to thank everyone for watching this program. Thank you.